can hear kids fighting already. Fun.
Oh, yeah.
Good morning, everybody. Morning, Fluff.
Good morning, Colton. How are you doing this morning, buddy?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good as can be. So no complaints here. How about you?
I mean, I could complain, but nobody fucking cares. So a little stiff this morning, but that's about it.
Yeah,
Ready to fucking get this day moving.
right on. Hell yeah. Cheers, Sheldon, Double J, Art, man. Johnny, good luck today, Johnny. Jeep A, Archie, J5, Jeffro, Mike. Good morning, everybody. Caveman,
Morning,
Doctor,
everybody.
Fat
Fat
Freddy.
Freddy
Oh,
Cat.
everybody's in here right on the fucking dot. Morning, everybody. Good to see y'all.
Which is kind of interesting. I thought, like, right when I went to my YouTube and my subscriptions, it
Cheers,
wasn't
Cave.
there.
Good morning. What wasn't there?
Our show.
Oh,
Had to actually fucking search it. Cocksuckers.
crazy.
God
Galaxy,
damn internet.
cheers. Good morning. What are we smoking on this morning, everybody? Let us know in chat what you're smoking on. I got some Maui Runts I'm grinding up here.
Cheers, King.
It's
Maui
nice.
Runt.
Yeah, it's like I described it as my wife buys this syrup for like it's made for like making cocktails and shit, but we just mix it with sparkling water. And it's passion fruit hibiscus, and that's very much what this reminds me of. It's tropical and floral and very good.
Interesting. It definitely made me feel like just what it was, more of like it would be in that banana category, like that yellow fruitish, kind of give you that with I don't know,
It,
what were those?
it kind of
I,
is, but like there's a big difference between the profile on my Hawaiian by Black Widows, which is
yeah,
very much what you're describing, and this.
right.
This is more. This would be more towards like I said, like passion fruit or guava or
Awesome. I fucking love passion fruit, so
yeah, some of that tropical stuff. It's
that'd be
nice.
fun.
It's nice. Yeah, I
I
like
need to
it.
find something more on that realm. Like that passion fruit always gives you that kind of like tangy, sweet,
Mhm.
yummy. I don't
Yeah,
know, man. It's hard to
yeah,
describe.
yeah. No, that you got it though. That's pretty well what it is there. So I quite enjoy it. My frosted melons is almost similar, just less floral and a little bit more melony, but kind of along the same lines. But this Hawaiian runts or Maui runts, sorry, is Maui Wowie crossed by Hawaiian runts. So
Okay.
it's got all the tropical, very tropical forward.
Very tropical forward.
Mm-hmm. But I quite enjoy it. I picked a keeper out of the two that I grew, so I'm
Nice.
happy about it.
How did you go about picking it? Just it was just your favorite plant? Anything special?
It was the smoke test. The nose and like it was funny. Once I was having a really hard time, but once I put the two, because I had so much from this little pheno hunt, I didn't have enough jars for everything. But once I started smoking some stuff down and moving some, doing the jar switch, playing musical jars, I got both of the phenos into a jar and I let them sit for a week. And then I went back and opened each jar. And one of them, the nose there was a clear difference in the nose. Like it was just stronger, had a little bit more floral, and the smoke is just slightly heavier than the other one. The other one's kind of, I mean, it's good. It's just missing a little bit of the effect. But this one is a good one. It's got a good effect to it. Smacks you a little bit. It's nice.
Nice.
Cheers, Julie. Good morning.
That was
Cheers,
one
Martin.
I still find is fun every once in a while when I'll go through some of the BAMs. Like they've either been sitting since harvest, or I haven't even gotten into. No, I've gotten into all of them. But some of them I was like, that's good, but I'll put it away and we'll keep smoking my more favorite ones, right? Like the
Mm-hmm.
Bambi's almost fucking gone already and things, but like the number 4, this one right here that I have next to me. As this one is kind of aging, it's definitely getting more of that kind of just gassy OG, kind of just funky,
Mm-hmm.
and it's getting more pleasant. I fucking the cure is doing it a lot of justice.
Nice.
It's
Yeah.
some of them just don't change that much. This one it's really taking the edge kind of off of the super fucking astringent, like when you sniff it,
Yeah.
and it really bites you in the nose. It's taking
Mm-hmm.
the edge off of that, but more of that just funk is coming up out of the background.
Okay.
And it
Nice.
yeah, and more flavor in it too. So really
Cheers, Charlie.
enjoying some of those.
Cheers, Ty. Good morning. Yeah, it's funny as I've been going through some of these different phenos and flavors, I'm kind of doing the same thing. I'm smoking the ones I've really liked first, and the other ones are sitting, and they're actually, like you said, just getting a little bit better as you
Right?
go. Cheers, Clay. Good morning.
Like the proper cure though, right? Not just like old ass weed, just
Yeah,
properly
yeah,
fucking cured,
yeah.
stored a little bit. Right, not fucking 2-year old,
Hmm.
it works, but it's just fucking
Yeah,
old CBN now.
yeah, yeah,
That old
yeah.
bitter ass fucking CBN flavor.
Most of this stuff was harvested at the end of December, beginning of January. So it's, we're right around that 2 month,
Nice.
around that 2 month mark. So everything's kind of just perfect right now.
Yeah, it's hard to it's for me especially especially if it's one of the ones that comes out of the gate smoking really really well.
Hmm. Nice, Ty.
Hell yeah, Ty. That's what I'm fucking talking about. Um, but it's hard to get those ones, that they come out right away. They smoke good. They smell great. You're like, oh, you get all excited about it. That one never fucking seems to make it to a decent cure, ever.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I need to do the proper thing once and grow that plant and only that plant. That way, I have just a whole freezer full of it. There's no way I can't get to some cured fucking weed.
yeah. Or split it, take a little bit out and then seal up the rest and put
Yeah,
it
who's gonna
somewhere.
fucking do that? The second I know that bitch is over there, I'm taking
I
it.
fucking do that. I've
Ah,
done that
you
a
don't
few
bust
times.
into the old one. Like
Not
once
if
you once
not if I have other smoke. If every once in a
ah
while, I'll go back to something every once in a while and be like, I'm feeling this one. I want to join to this. But I've actually started to be pretty good. You know, once you constantly have full jars or at least a bit, you know, it's easier for me to tuck something away and let it do its thing for a while.
it's easier for me if it's one that I'm not feeling at the moment. But if that motherfucker's in it and it's like I'll just use the BAM specifically or the Bambi specifically, fucking Clay's cut because uh around here it's great energy. It's like kind of our standard daytime smoke right now. It gets everybody up and fucking goofy and happy and motivated and like it's really firing on all fucking cylinders. So if I had a second one sitting around and the jar went empty, the second one wouldn't stand a fucking chance. If I knew it was sitting there, I'd be like, nope, she's getting broke out.
That's funny. Hold on, give me 1 second. I got my kids are fucking
What? It sounds like someone's getting murdered.
they're howling through the vents at me. They're trying to fucking and the vent is like it comes out because I'm in the basement, so it's right above my desk. So it's fucking loud. Give me 1 second. You guys have some dab
Uh,
frogs or something while I'm
I love fucking kids. That's great. Oh, that's so funny. Dude, they just do some wild ass shit, don't they? All right, dab frogs, y'all. What we got here? Bam! So, what's everybody smoking on this morning? Oh man, some of them comments are way too good to be fucking in that chat with him not here. All right, guys. Hey, what are y'all smoking on? Put some of that in there. I didn't see everybody's this morning. We got some new peoples. So what y'all all fucking ripping on? Got me some Bam Yee's cut this morning. What I've spoken. Also, if y'all in top chat, need to be live chat. Missing good shit. Ooh, yeah, I would take this time while Colton is not here to do the proper YouTuber type thing, do the like, subscribe thing for us. Go out there, hit the fucking thumbs up. After the show's over, do us a favor, leave a comment in the chat underneath, not in the live chat, but in like the comments. It actually does help the show grow, get more people around, yada yada yada. Nice, Archie. How you liking that? Something good. Man, that one seemed to be decent around the area. Some orange cookies. Nice.
All right. The wolves have been put back in their pens.
Excellent. Excellent.
Fuck.
Christ, where did this one go? Oh,
Cheers, Todd. Good morning.
this was one of the good ones that came through.
Yeah, GP, 100%.
And then there was this.
That's good art, man. Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
Uh,
And so
yeah.
man. All right. Dude, I got everybody top chatted, live chatted up. We got the dab frog in,
Perfect.
seeing
Okay.
what the fucking crew's smoking on.
Nice.
So
All right. Well, I'll have a puff.
there.
Did we do?
Yeah, man.
Did you do some reading on some stuff or what?
No, I've done a little bit on that, and I always find a cool difference. Is it never seems to boil down to the music. You know what I mean? It always seems to boil down to the vibrations, but
Yes. Yeah. The wavelengths. Yeah.
yeah, it's very neat. When you look at the studies on like the sounds of the birds chirping and things, and looking at
Mhm.
the response to the plants in the morning,
Yeah. Yeah.
uh, yeah, it's I mean it's not a lot different than us, right? We hear those sounds, that sunlight peaks, we fucking perk up. I mean that's what
Mhm.
happens. The plants do the same.
Yeah.
So I've always thought it was neat, and I don't know. I would like to try to replicate it just for fun, morning alarm for the fucking plants. Why not? I just never thought that I could quite get it right. I mean, I'm not gonna spend extra on like a fucking sound system to make
Yeah.
sure the
Right.
vibrations come out right, and
Yeah.
I'm pretty certain my fucking Google speaker over there ain't quite gonna fucking cut it.
No, and
Yeah.
it's actually so when I was doing some reading, I actually got more into the frequency. And that's what it boils down to is the frequency of the music and what it's tuned to versus the music. So you could almost play any music as long as it's tuned to the correct frequency and it will have benefit for the plants. So when I was doing some reading, and I actually watched a little video, I'll have to find it. It was really good. It was like 22 minutes long, but it talked about the difference in the frequencies and why, or what frequency. So the frequency that plants and humans actually have positive influence from is 432 hertz, 432 hertz. Now back,
432, huh?
yeah. So back in, I think they said it was 1917, between 1917 basically and 1950. For some reason, they changed the standard tuning for most musical instruments and most recorded music to 440. And the thing about 440 is there's actually no evidence or no scientific backing as to why they changed it to 440. Um,
Hmm.
and if you go back to 432, it actually that's a frequency. It's funny because you say you just bring up the concept and you talk about music making plants grow better, and it sounds like it sounds like bro science. It sounds like fucking a myth or an old wives' tale or whatever. But if you actually get into it, the frequency of 432 hertz actually has proven medical benefit to humans as well. And when you think about that, then it's not so far of a stretch to think that that hurt or that frequency can also have benefit to your plants. Um, and I started getting into it, I found a lot of stuff. I found some Yale studies. Um, I found quite a few studies actually, and the oldest one that I found is only goes back to 2014. So it's not like this is old
Old
science
studies.
that's coming through. I found stuff. There's a Yale one that was done as recently as 2023. Um,
Neat.
so they are actually trying to find um, ways to incorporate sound and that frequency into uh, gardening and growing. They've done a lot with greenhouses. Obviously, it's not quite as applicable or as transferable to agricultural crop develop or growing. Obviously, you have to put speakers out in your fields and all that stuff, and there's a whole nother that's a whole nother set of
Plants have
logistics you
kind
have to look
of
at.
developed to grow in nature. I think it's got what the fuck they want. It's, you know.
Yeah. But there's the one study was done on mung beans to determine crop yield changes, and the one study showed a crop increase of yield. Sorry, two of the results. One showed a 131% increase, and another showed a 159% increase in the yield of the plants
Jesus.
that were exposed to music or exposed to this frequency. So the reason that the 432 hertz frequency affects plants and humans so efficiently is because that is the natural frequency of the earth, or it's the closest thing to the natural frequency of the earth. So when you're talking about the birds chirping and the sounds of nature, that's literally the reason why the 432 hertz frequency is so effective.
It's the natural frequency.
It's the natural frequency of the earth, which is why that
Interesting.
that video that I was talking about, it's they're just baffled. They're like, oh, we don't understand why they made the change to 440 hertz when 432 hertz is so close to the natural frequency of the earth.
Of
So
just the state of things.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to find
But
another one because there's something else they cited, and it wasn't just the benefits are not just that your plants grow happier. It's not like you play them some happy music and they're fucking just happy and dancing. Um, there is proof or evidence that um, so there's one study here where they expose the plants to mantras or Vedic chanting, which some of that
yeah, yeah.
old religious chanting would have also been closer to that frequency, that natural frequency of the earth. Um, Let me see, where did that one go?
There you go. We figured out the reason for the difference in the tunes.
Lizard people didn't like the 432. Yeah,
Hmm.
it's funny.
I like it, Jeffro. I think you're on to something. Um,
Um,
I wonder, things like the tomato, right? It doesn't pollinate unless it has that kind of, or it won't even open to be pollinated unless it knows like the
little bit of
insects are by, right? The
yeah,
buzzing from the wings is
yeah.
what causes that to open. And I wonder if that buzzing still, I wonder if that hits around that 432 hertz range.
Oh,
That would be
probably,
very fucking interesting.
probably. Yeah, yeah.
Now, it could just be more of a vibration for them, but regardless, you can buy like a little fucking vibrator, to get them to stimulate it to open up and pollinate. So,
Hmm.
um, but man, I'm gonna have to play around with it now. I know I've got a CD that just has from old car audio testing and whatnot. I have a CD that just has hertz ranges
Yeah.
from like 2000 down to like 50. No, I think
Yeah.
30. Something
Yeah.
ridiculous. Uh,
Dan, it can be both the buzzing and the air pressure. Um, the air pressure was another contributing factor. They said that does help uh, with the frequency as well. But then, so this one study that I found, it was done at a China Agricultural University in Beijing. They found that sound waves significantly increased the yield of sweet peppers, cucumber, tomatoes, spinach, cotton, rice, and wheat. Additionally, pests such as spider mites, aphids, gray mold, late blight, and virus diseases of tomatoes decreased in greenhouse conditions with sound treatment. So it goes further than just, like I said, it's not just to make your plants happy and make your leaves open up and all that kind of shit that you would think of like the hippy dippy science. Uh, there, there's a very real practical application for sound treatment, especially like they said here in a greenhouse environment, right? You could put a couple speakers in a greenhouse and the sound fucking will reverberate off the walls and off the floor and off the ceiling and everything and be a bit more effective. I will always play music now. After I did some of this reading, I will always play music for my plants now. And my wife was laughing at me just a couple weeks ago. She's like, "Are you playing music for your plants?" Well, last night she told me one day she's gonna come down here and change the music on me, just to be funny. But uh,
no, man. I mean, well, when you think about a lot of that stuff, a lot of people with sensitivities and things like that, right? They like music and things in their ears. They like that when you're a construction worker, right? That constant drone of where you're at. Sorry, like industrial construction, right? Like
mhm,
plants, manufacturing facilities, and things like that, right? You kind of get used to that. What's there, right? When you go
definitely,
to when you go to like a powerhouse the first time, right? Everything there, like fucking even the ground outside is vibrating, right?
yeah,
With a
yeah,
constant hum.
yeah,
Your first time out, it's a little awkward. It's a little kind of wears on your senses and shit. But
hmm,
as you kind of like do that stuff more and more, and you're in that more, you get used to that to where things like that constant droning, you almost need it to help uh, focus on shit, right?
hmm,
You need the sound to fucking bring you down to focus, right? To drown out other shit. So it's very interesting. We had talked about or started talking about how doing the music, right? The heavy metal was one where that the plants had negative effects to, and classical music was way more. Uh, the plants liked it better, a better
hmm,
response, all those things, right? And generally, you're played on different keys, things like that. So but I also wonder, if it doesn't come down to also, the general feeling of what's happening, in the environment, right? If
right, yeah,
yes, you can have loud, obnoxious, and fucking, heavy, um, but if the environment is pleasant around, that also turns into almost a pleasant sound for things. So
hmm,
I just wonder, I always say, I go in there, I listen to heavy metal, it puts me in a good mood, it does that. So when I go in
yeah,
there, we know that plants have response to when humans come in contact with them, near them, talk them, right? They have positive and negative response
yeah,
to humans.
yeah,
So it only makes sense that, if they're hearing that and then all of a sudden they know I'm going to come in a good mood, I think they know, right? So
hmm,
there's I wonder, if there can be kind of a, um, I don't know, like a period where they can kind of get used to that. They're.
I would think so. I would think so. One of the studies that I was reading talked about, it was actually had to do with the effects on humans, not on plants. And they were testing the frequency, the difference in the two frequencies, the 432 and the 440. They were testing it on people with anxiety, and
Mhm.
they let them listen to uh, different music at different frequencies. And when they let them listen to their favorite music that was retuned to the 432 hertz frequency, they actually found faster relief and longer lasting relief from their anxiety in most of those patients. It's quite interesting. It
Interesting.
was really interesting to read some of this stuff. So, and I have saved all this stuff, so I'll throw some of these resources up in the comment, and I'll throw some out in Discord if anyone's interested.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah. I'm definitely the one you were talking about with the specific 432 hertz one. I want to check
mhm,
that one out
and
for
there's
sure.
lots too that I found talking about the effects of music in different stages of plant growth. So there are some, like there's a study right here. Effect of different sound genres on in vitro seed germination. So playing different sounds as your plants are going through different phases could even have an effect on some things. The one thing I found interesting here is they've done a study and they found that here's another one: effects on different types of music on the germination and seedling of alfalfa and lettuce plants. Um, but the one study I found actually said that uh, where is it here? Okay, it was seen that, so this is different types of music on Rosa chinensis plants. I'm not sure what those are, but it just says it was seen that the plants exposed to the Vedic chants showed maximum elongation of their shoots, maximum number of flowers, highest diameter of flowers, which clearly showed that subjecting the plants to Indian classical music promotes the growth of the plants as compared to subjecting them to Western classical or rock. So, that fucking, what's that thing? What's that? What's that? The Indian guitar. That's what I picture.
Oh
Somebody
yeah,
just sitting there playing that down, 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 the fucking, the twangy Indian music. I thought that was kind of interesting. This all has actually really
that's good.
made me want to set up, like, now more than anything that I've ever wanted to test in a plant, I want to set up 2 flowering rooms and I want to play different music. Another thing to note though is that lots of these, they were not exposing the plants to music all day long. It's just like people, like we can listen to music for hours at a time, but then eventually you need a break, right?
Right.
Sometimes you need a break. So uh leaving the I have seen people that just leave the radio on in their grow for something, to just so there's some sound in there. That's not beneficial. I mean, I didn't see anything that says that's not beneficial, but I'm guessing just because most of the controlled experiments here, they did a couple hours at a time maximum. I don't think there's benefit in playing it all day every day.
But it just goes for the old saying, moderation.
Mhm.
Everything is okay in
Mhm.
moderation. And
Yeah.
if I think as humans, we look at a lot of things in like 100 years, right? But if you look at a plant's life cycle and you say, hey, if you take that 100 years and take it down to their, fucking 1 year life cycle, say a 1 year life cycle, right? You expand
Mhm.
all the way down. One 8 hour period of music for them is like fucking years of just
Yeah.
noise, uh,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So you got to think of that, right? The birds are really loud in the morning, in the evening,
Yeah.
right? You get a reprieve during the daytime
Yeah.
usually, but I try to always think that, think of everything kind of at 100%, and then knock it down to whatever. Like I think of that, and then right, yeah, 8 hours would be a
Exact
fucking
time. Yeah, it could be
so long
torture.
for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just throw that down in moderation a little bit more. When I'm working in the garden, give them a little music. I talk to them. Plus, that's always one of the things, you talk to them, and by talking to them, you're also fucking releasing CO2 vibrations, all those good things. So,
Yeah.
the plants want you in there to help work on them and things, but in moderation.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure.
But, and it makes me wonder, do you remember you talked about the great, that, that dude on Cannabis was trying to promote?
Yeah.
I do remember at some point he had talked about, it doesn't play music, it just vibrates. And I
Right.
wonder what the
Right.
vibration was set, what frequency was that set to?
Yeah.
So,
I'm
was it?
sure I'm sure he did some work into looking into that. But yeah, it would be interesting now to I actually thought about seeing if I could find that guy to talk to him a bit before this morning show, but not many people on cannabis these days. So he's not there anymore. His page with his old stuff, his old system is on there. So you can see how he hooked it up to the grate and everything like that. But yeah, he's not on there anymore.
Did you check IG for him? See
No,
if
I did.
he's trying to pedal out somewhere else?
No, I didn't. I should have though.
Yeah, I might have to. I don't remember his name, but I might have to fucking see.
I'll check it on Cannabis again. Maybe he might even have a link in his profile. I didn't actually check. I just looked at his stuff. But
Hey, automation. I believe, right. I was talking
here's
to you the
automation.
other day, and I sent my kid a message. He is supposed to be getting a hold of you. I sent him your page and everything. So hopefully, I know I asked him yesterday, and he said no. He was being fucking lazy. So if you don't hear from him in the next little bit, let me know, and I'll fucking stick foot up his ass so that he contacts you. All right, out of the way. But right, right. So yeah. With that, I
Here's
wondered very much if that wasn't where his grate was kind of set up.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
And shit. Now that I'm thinking about that, I wish that I would have fucking talked to that dude a little bit more. I wonder if just that fucking vibration. I
Yeah.
wonder how that would affect like any of the insect life on that plant. Being as you were literally
It
shaking that
would.
plant
It
like
would
a
for
fucking
sure because there in one of these studies it cites that it has effects on pests. It, it
yeah,
it can help deter. It said spider mites, aphids, even some powdery mildew, even some molds that can help deter those things. Obviously, it's not your fucking it's not your IPM system. It's not your full whatever, but it can
right.
help. It can
A
be in place.
deterrent, right?
Yeah,
It's the same thing as when you plant fucking mint and cilantro and all that shit around your plants you don't want. It's a deterrent. It's not a good one, but it does do
yeah.
a job,
And
and every little bit helps.
there's some insect um, repellent things that I've seen, and I thought at first when I was looking at them, I thought they were just a total gimmick. Now I think there might be some validity to them, but it's a little box you plug into your fucking outlet, and it emits a frequency, and it helps deter bugs from coming in your house. And now I'm like, fuck, I might have to go buy a couple of those things. Maybe
Man,
it'll
I
help
don't, I
keep
don't
the
know.
flies down a little
I've seen those things for a long time.
bit.
Lots
Yeah,
of people try
yeah,
them and don't, and like I said, it's a deterrent. It is
yeah,
not,
yeah,
and it's not the greatest one.
yeah.
We've
And
got a couple
now,
of those.
like
Go ahead.
looking into it now, I can see where it would be something where it's like you got to make sure that they're using the correct frequency for the correct pests that you're trying to deter. It's not as simple as a fucking plug and play and it'll kill all your bugs type of solution.
Right. Yeah. Well, like we have a couple around our house. It's always say old house, right? And I got a cat, and but no one likes mice. So I do everything to try to keep them away, especially since my fucking cat can't even catch them. Fucking useless son of a bitch. Sits over here being lazy all day. But we have some of those, and I will say that in I live in an area where I could easily get a lot of mice, and I don't have a ton of issues with that. So between just having a cat around and possibly those plug-in things, because I have them in a few different places throughout the house,
Yeah.
maybe they do help do a little bit of deterrence. And so the little bit, between a few different vectors, they're like, all right,
Yeah.
we've had a couple throughout the years, but really nothing major.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I can
Um,
see where it could definitely be helpful.
mhm. Yeah. Yeah, it's quite interesting. It really got me thinking about a lot of stuff here with this topic. But I want to read this one little article because it's at the end of one of the studies and it's perspectives and remaining questions. So it's not to argue the point, but this kind of goes into what needs to be done next to really figure out how to optimize the benefits of the sound for the plants. So it says sound represents a potential new trigger for plant protection. To date, the use of this new trigger has been introduced and validated in proof of concept studies for its potential applications to plant biology. However, there are limitations to this treatment that must be overcome and unanswered questions that remain to be explored. Here, we focused on sound waves as a stress reliever in plants. After summarizing previous findings, there are still some major concerns about the use of sound treatment in plant science. First, we still do not understand how the plant initially perceives the sound. Even though there is accumulating information about plant responses to different wavelengths of sound and the responses of different plant species, without eardrums, how do the plants physically recognize the strength and the wavelengths of the sound signals and integrate this information into plant cells? This issue is also critical from a practical viewpoint. The discovery of an organ or a specific protein in the plant that recognizes sound waves would help us maximize the effectiveness of the use of the sound treatment in field trials. Second, technology used to engineer sound quality, such as fine tuning, modification, and mixing of sounds, must also be improved to facilitate its use for sound mediated stress relief and increased plant growth. Third, the analysis of plant biomarkers such as pathogenous related 1 protein, PR1, for synthetic acquired resistance will help scientists optimize sounds to maximize
Cheers, Galaxy.
sound specific plant stress relief. Fourth, we must be concerned about the side effects of sound waves as well. Humans can differentiate and recognize sounds ranging from 20 to 20,000 hertz. If sound vibration used to treat plants causes damage to animals, humans, or microbes, after long exposure, a detailed examination and evaluation of the effects of various exposure times and high frequency will be required. To minimize side effects from this treatment, different aspects of the responses of animals and selected wavelength need to be assessed. In conclusion, the use of sound as a plant trigger is in its infancy, but it has already shown great potential. If proper electric power supply, speakers, and associated sound generating equipment are utilized, sound treatment can constitutively be applied for long periods of time without additional input. This unique setup, which has not been tested before, awaits your next experiment. So I really liked this is a summary of one of the studies. And it was just I liked it because it was them owning up to the fact that there's a lot more research that needs to be done around this. And I like that they're talking about fine tuning. So they're talking about, like you said, it's not even music. It could be sounds, just vibrations that they're trying to figure out and fine tune it says sound specific plant stress relief. So again, your sounds are going to change per plant. They're going to change per environment. Um, it can very much, like you said, it can very much depend on your garden. You know, it can depend on your environment and what you've got set up.
Yeah,
Um,
I,
but
I wonder.
I like how they said discovery of an organ or specific protein in the plant that recognizes, and then without eardrums, we don't know how the fuck the plants are listening to the sound. We don't know how they're like they
How
don't
they
know
perceive the sound.
how they're they don't know how they're getting it, but somehow
Right.
they are. So yeah, I really like that they kind of were owned up to it and just said,
I
yeah,
think
there's
that's a
a lot
neat one
more
right
frequencies.
there. Is they haven't quite figured out when a gardener goes in their room, the plants usually they all have a response, like, and they have that response before the human gets there, right? Like
Mhm.
within like feet of there, they can like they can start to sense the human or the
Yeah.
whatever in the area. So it is interesting. How do they perceive this shit? Where does it come from? It's
Hmm.
very neat. Um,
Hmm.
Shit, man, I don't remember what the hell I was just gonna say.
So that said, there's some interesting things that came up to my mind as I was going through this, and they're a little bit more. Now I can't remember the first one I was going to talk about. They're more like it would take some fine tuning. It would take some actual studying and researching. But what I started to wonder about is, could you potentially terp steer your plants according to what sounds you're playing them at certain frequencies? That gets into the bro science because
That's
obviously, like I said, there's no fucking research on that.
Well, I mean,
But
it
it
only
made me
starts as
wonder,
bro science until
right?
crop steering was probably fucking bro science until people started proving how you could make these traits go certain ways, right? This
Hmm.
stress causes this factor, right? That is
Right.
crop steering.
Yeah.
So it was all kind of fucking bro science until somebody went ahead and tried to prove it.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
Um, Oh, I was saying, yeah, those like the Tibetan singing bowls where they're
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
is. I wonder if that is because if I think right, it should be 432 wouldn't be a very low range. It's not, but it's not very high either. It's very solidly kind of in the low middle range.
Hmm.
Um, and so some of those bowls could totally be right on that, and it makes sense, when you sit in one of those sound bath things um, where, like you said, it's probably hitting that specific hurt. So
Yeah.
it sounds to me like what you need to do is go, heal yourself and your plants. Go take 5 minutes, get yourself one of them both in your fucking grow room, and then
Yeah.
be out, man. You're ready to go.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I looked it up really quick, and there's a range. They range between 110 and 900 hertz.
Okay. So you could totally fucking get one that's in the fucking or one bowl ranges from that whole range.
Hmm.
Oh shit. Okay.
So if you then, of course, the beauty of Google, it pops up something right here. One of the other frequently asked questions is, what are the benefits of a 432 hertz singing bowl? And it says the 432 hertz bowl is believed to be more calming and harmonious, often associated with deeper relaxation and healing. If you're seeking a soothing meditative experience, the 430 hertz bowl is a better choice. If you want a more vibrant, stimulating sound, the 440 hertz bowl may suit your needs.
Hmm, that's cool.
Hmm.
Maybe you could do like the fucking 440 one in the morning and get your plants ready to rock for the
Yeah, if
fucking
you play,
day.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
man.
another.
Then
There you go.
432 at the
Another one.
fucking end of the night to calm down, chill the fuck out, and
Yeah.
take some. All right. No,
Huh.
it's super interesting, like all of it. So he said, I'm excited to see what more research goes into it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. This is one I'm going to keep an eye on this stuff for moving forward for sure. It's very interesting.
yeah. Uh, and it also makes me wonder. You know, I've never checked down here, like in where by my grow room is. But I've always wondered, like I'm pretty certain my plants all over my house get the morning wake up call from the birds. I hear it clearly in my, bedroom, in my bed, not by a window, things like that. Now, granted, they're not going to get that full effect because, all the sound dampening that's going to happen through the house.
Hmm.
But they could possibly get some of that benefit just from around here still, right? Since I don't have the greatest field house in the world, most of the sound waves typically can get through. So I just wonder if they would get any effect from that naturally.
Yeah, that's interesting. I was just reading because Clay and Jeff were talking about the water as well and the plants, and that Jeff Rose suggested maybe the water is what allows the plants to detect the sound, the moisture in the plant. That's really interesting. That could be could be something to look
Well,
into.
that makes a lot of sense, and I've been wanting to check out that book that Clay was talking about, because I mean, when you really look at it, the water around here really does govern so much shit in our life, uh,
Hmm.
and we live off of fucking processed water.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I mean? In every which way, shape, and form, live
yeah,
off processed water. So.
yeah.
Um, it is interesting to think, the water has got to be the catalyst. It was something that I kind of learned through some of the new wood turning that I picked up. When people make shit really thin, when the light transfers through the wood, it's because the water is transferring, the light as well, through, into that, well, through the other side, so that you can see it. But
Hmm.
if it was totally dry, you actually wouldn't have much of a shine coming. It's the water content and the moisture that's left in there that's bringing the light through, which was a fucking really interesting concept. So, yeah, that's. I think I have seen before where people have used like ultrasonic water treatments,
Yeah.
uh, before they had went to either watering plants or their own water, their drinking water, things like that. Uh, and yeah, it's neat. I mean, the other thing is kind of like, the sound has shape, is another thing,
Mhm.
when you look at everything, notes, sounds, frequencies also have a shape to them. Um, and it just makes me wonder if any of that correlates,
Yeah,
or how.
like when they
Not
do
not if, it's
those
how.
the soundboards with like the sand and shit on them, as they change the
Yes,
frequency, the shape that the material makes totally
and
changes.
it's a 100% repeatable shape. It's not like they get a
Yeah,
different shape. They
yep,
could set it up somewhere else in the world with different stuff, and
yeah,
use that. As long as it's the
yeah,
right frequency, the shape is the same.
yeah. It's always a constant.
Yeah, and so right, and I say, if, but it's not if, it's how it all correlates.
Hmm.
We're learning these things,
Yeah,
as the race goes on, but
yeah.
it will definitely be cool to see
Oh, I
if we ever.
remember the other random kind of bro sciencey. This will be fun. What happens when I hook my fucking whatever's playing my frequency to my copper rod going down into my
Oh
fucking
man,
soil?
start. Are we just gonna start putting like fucking gyroscopes in our
We're gonna do it
soil
all.
to
Yeah,
fucking?
yeah.
All
It's
right, man.
gonna look like one of those fun yards with one of the crazy ladies that lives there. Just fucking pinwheels everywhere, all kinds of shit in the garden.
Well, hey, man. I mean, when you really, all
Tell me,
right,
James.
fucking, we're gonna fuck with this one. We're gonna take this for a ride. All right? You talked about the water, and then you talked about bringing the copper down. Now, copper's generally gonna grab some either static or in general kind of electricity and things from the air, right? It's going to be a conduit for that, so it
Yep.
will try to ground it. Now your water will help that water move, or that whatever it grabs out of there. It's going to help it, be a
Mm.
conduit through the soil. So the water will do that. So is there any fucking science to it? Who knows? Everything has a little bit of a fucking charge to it. Everything needs a little bit of a fucking charge to it. So
Yeah.
do they get enough, or are you overcharging your shit when you put your fucking magic rod and fucking wizard staff in there? I don't know.
Yeah. You'll get square buds. That's funny. Um, the copper will change the frequency of the water and the soil. Yeah. So I've been seeing a lot of people doing getting on the copper water vessel, drinking water for your countertop. You can buy it's just a giant copper reservoir essentially with a spout on it, and people are now drinking their drinking water through the copper whatever. So it
Seems
is,
like a lot of people need more minerals in their life.
yeah, maybe that's,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's kind of the same thing. A lot of people, when they need more iron in their diet, they will start cooking with cast iron. They notice, and
yeah,
everything comes out. Right. You start cooking with your iron. You add minerals and things, right? When your water touches shit, it picks up shit and it adds it to it.
yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah,
and I personally like alcohols that were brewed in copper rather than like stainless steel or things like that. There's a noticeable difference when it's been,
well, and
when
especially
it's
when you're
touched
heating it,
copper.
right? Especially when
Right.
you're heating it.
Exactly.
The copper rod is
Uh, um, well, yeah, if you just tried to put, oh my gosh, see, you can't just add the fucking copper rod, man. You got to put the fucking the copper tubing, and you got to wrap
yeah,
it like fucking counterclockwise and place it in the northmost section of your fucking garden. There's so many rules. If you just shove the pipe in the ground, it's never gonna work, man. Come on, got
yeah,
to get some research into the fucking fuckery.
that's right. Cheers, Lone Star. Good morning.
You know what? I take that back. He may have done his research and still calls it bullshit like I do, but whatever.
Yes, Huby. I think anyone that drank water right from the hose, the garden hose, definitely has a stronger immune system. I'll say that.
Bro, garden hose water does
Amethyst
stuff, man.
bedazzled. Yep, definitely, Jeffro. Lots of minerals. You can see the minerals in your fucking hose water, tap water.
Yeah, yeah, I can fucking really see the minerals in my water.
Yeah,
But I mean that's what it is. I mean it really does when you get the people who are really going towards those things. I bet they're either buying a lot of filtered water, or they're filtering the fuck out of their water, or
mhm,
yeah, and the foods we eat, we know this. They're not as nutritionally dense. So, if
mhm.
you're growing fucking lettuce hydroponically, there's so much. There's a lot of minerals that are just not going to make it. There's a lot of elements that just aren't going to fucking get there. So it's it makes sense, right, to get some of these things back in, right? If we were meant to just naturally kind of drink water that was safe, like the spring water, things like that, it came because it washed through all those minerals. The minerals picked up
Yeah,
that other shit, and
yeah,
it picked up minerals to replace it, and then we drank it. So when we weren't doing all this fuckery to the water, we didn't need, yeah, you wouldn't have needed so much of this, put it in copper, put it in, all of
mhm,
that. So,
yeah,
but right. And we try to kill everything. So,
right.
you know,
Yeah, yeah, and I mean that's exactly why it's recommended you don't drink agriculture or horticultural RO that's been stripped of everything and nothing's been put back into it. Like we have a water tap upstairs for our drinking water, and that has a remineralization filter that after it goes through all the filtering, it goes through that last one, and that adds some of those essential minerals back into the water. Um, Otherwise, if you're drinking straight RO, you better be fucking supplementing yourself with some minerals,
Right.
because you will get mineral deficient and run into serious issues.
Yeah. Hey, local, either hit me up or I can hit you up later on the Discord and or fucking ask a question. You'll get all kinds of input.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the same. We've got like one. I've checked the RO after it comes out, and we still have like 10 ppm, and most
Mhm.
of that is still in the calcium carbonate range. Is what
Yeah.
that 10 ppm pretty much is. It's calcium carbonate. So there's the slightest bit of mineral left in the RO that we drink out of, but we also you can it's easily affectable. You can add a little bit of tap water back into your RO. Will give enough fucking minerals to actually do the same thing. Or
Mhm.
they make mineral sticks and shit. We have some of those where you can alkalize the water and things like that also. So
Yeah.
it is a good practice to and drink something other than just your RO water. Like
Hmm.
start with that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the really easy question for that is, do you have enough control over your humidity? I have water that runs right out the wall, right down into my bed. I let my bed soak up the water that comes out of the leak in the wall. So I don't give a shit. It doesn't bother me one bit. I don't grow cocoa. I don't throw salts at it. It's a natural bed. It's getting natural water. And typically, if I have something like that, then I will back down on the water on the watering system for just a little bit because it has a tendency to get the bed really wet, and I don't want to take any chances. So when it does rain and get down here, it's a slight bit of a pain in the ass, but it's just free natural water for me, so I don't give a shit. Um, I would say keep the fucking 2 foot. Um, if you have anything like a riser, if you're worried about the water, just make sure that you're putting your shit on risers and or pots that aren't gonna fucking get flooded or float away.
Hmm.
But yeah, no, that wouldn't be an issue to me. I mean, hell, I go in my room and fucking we'll just fuck, with the hose and sprayer, and let her rip and mop her down. I don't worry about too much water being in there usually. Because also the climate control or all of the systems are gonna try to dry it out as quick as possible and get it back into stasis anyway. So I don't worry about it.
It's funny. I love how fucking we've been doing this show for a while. We've been friends for a while, but our grow styles are just completely fucking opposites. I'm like, ah, shit, I splashed a little water out of my bucket. Fucking mop it up real quick. Wipe that shit up. No fucking water in there.
Oh man, it's all good.
No
It's all
bugs.
good.
No
I
fucking crazy wall leaking water.
I mean, for me, it's I got to make the best of the situation.
No, I know for sure.
Originally, the little 2x4 bed that was literally an attempt to try to help keep the water from leaking farther into the basement. I was like, it's free
Hmm.
water, and this motherfucker is going to soak up a lot of it.
Yeah, yeah,
And it did, and it does. Now, I didn't put it right next to the wall, so it doesn't just like completely like soak down.
yeah.
It can run away. But yeah, man. I mean, you go out in the garden. I go out in the garden. It's the same thing. I just tried to
Hmm.
bring my fucking garden in here.
Yeah, yeah. No,
But
I love it.
I mean, the thing is, I mean, obviously you don't want water in your house too much, right?
Yeah,
I
for
mean, that's the
sure.
thing,
Yeah. Yeah.
so we don't anymore when it comes down, everything gets cleaned up. But
Yeah.
it's in a spot for me that is going to be an interesting fix. So I just got to roll with it.
Yeah.
But let's
No, I
see,
like it.
if it leaks, it will get. Well, put it on a fucking riser. I mean, you get one of those little milk crates or something and just put it on a riser. It goes right through. It's no big deal.
Hmm.
Yeah, dude. Fuck it, I wouldn't worry about it even one little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing in my landscape. There's no chemicals used that are like crazy next to my fucking house. Uh, and I mean, it's as natural a water as can get, right? It gets
Mm.
filtered down from the ground through the layer, and then it just pops out there in my fucking wall. So, I mean, I should just try to fucking drink it sometime and see how clean it actually tastes. But
Yeah. I
I
mean,
just,
you could pH it and check the other.
yeah,
Check a
I mean,
perf maybe. Do a couple basic tests.
oh yeah, oh, you're worried about your walls,
Oh,
dude.
about the walls.
Fuck yeah. Here, this is what I did, and I hear you. And this has worked out great for me. Oh fuck, hold on. Um, this shit.
Oh, okay. Worried about the wood being
Yep.
wet and shit. Yeah.
So tie wrap tape, uh, or sill wrap is what they call it. It's a very heavy rubber with a super sticky fucking tape to it, and it's made literally for where your house connects to your foundation. If this works, also this is
Mm.
tie wrap. Um, but the I couldn't find the sill tape. But the sill tape is fucking perfect, and it's the size to cover the whole 2x4, and then from there on, then you just have to put your vapor barrier up. Is right. I agree. I had the same idea, and then I've got the plastic coated fucking walls in there right now, so I don't worry about the actual wall part of it because the wall is sealed.
Sill gasket. There you go.
Still gasket.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. It's a big, cool, expensive ass fucking roll of thick rubber tape with really good fucking glue on it.
Yeah.
Where
Right.
I still
Local.
have
Yeah. Yeah. You don't want to have mold and mildew growing in there.
no, no. But so once you put that up, then you put your fucking vapor barrier up on that side, and you're all good.
Yeah.
And so if you're doing that, I'm assuming that means you're going to put the wall right up to the basement wall, which would be just how this one's done. So you're worried about the walls that are going on the outside. Uh,
Flex seal.
and
Yeah, great. Is that Phil Swift? Is that the guy that does the commercial? They make a boat out of fucking tape and Flex Seal. Maybe automation.
that's
that's another one you could go down. Yeah.
I I have very much wanted to, and someday I will. We put like a new bathroom and shit in here, and when we had them come in, I told them don't even fucking think about putting plastic. I want it all copper. I realize it's more expensive, but I want
Yeah.
copper piping.
Yeah.
And that's where we come into the house, all that fucking copper and everything. But they switched off to fucking, that CPVC shit, and I
Yeah.
want to get rid of all of that.
I
And
think that's actually up here. I think that is actually code now. You have to, if you're doing any new building, you cannot use, uh, I think you have to use the PEX. You can't use the fucking copper anymore. Oh, I want to throw out one more thing before we wrap the show up. Our lease got extended here, so
Sweet.
I would like to start trying to organize a booth camp northwest. We'll go with northwest for now. I realize it'll be probably a bit smaller because I realize that we're a little bit further away, but I'm gonna make a channel in the Discord today, just to get some feelers, just to see how many people would actually be interested in coming out west this way. I talked to G-Bay. He said he's still up in the air, but he would like to do something. He's not sure yet. So I'm gonna start a new channel just so we can keep it separate and doesn't get confusing in case he does decide to do one over in Ontario again. So yeah, you guys jump in the Discord if anyone. I'll kind of put our general area of where we live. We have tons of room for people. You know, if people want to camp, we have a few beds. We can sleep a few people in the house. We've got there's the town. It's kind of similar to G-Bays. We got a town where we're 10 minutes outside of town, and there's tons of hotels. Well, not tons, but there's enough hotels. Just a few minutes drive from us. Double J, we're in Alberta, Canada. So if we can get some feelers out there and see if anyone would be interested in coming. I know Cariboo will probably come. There is a couple other people that are. I know She Grows the Dank is local. She's not here this morning, I don't think, but she's actually pretty local to me. She's within an hour and a half distance. So yeah, we're gonna see what we can do. So you guys watch for that in Discord and let me know if anyone is interested. The hotels here are they're super cheap. I'm wondering if we can get maybe a block rate or something like that. But last time we drove by, their sign said $69 a night, and that's Canadian, so that's like $30 a night US almost. So, and
I can get behind that.
I think it's a Super 8. I think it's not even a fucking, it's not even an off-brand shithole. It's a Super 8. It's old, but it's fucking decent. So, but yeah, we'll see. I have no idea for dates right now. I know just probably not July because within like 3 hours of finding out that our lease was extended, we booked our entire month of July. We've got people coming and going. So I'm thinking maybe August. I kind of wanted to do a spring thing, but I'm not sure if spring works for everybody. So maybe we'll look to August or September or something like that, but we'll see. So
Right the fuck on, man.
yeah.
Oh,
41 hours away from you. Yeah, Hooli. Yeah, it's a bit. I knew that would be a bit. Even like Raider is straight south of us, and even Raider is a 17-hour drive from Colorado to here. So it's no small. I realize it's no small feat to travel here, but we're gonna try because we could. I mean, in theory, we could actually put everybody up that wanted to. We could put everybody up here, save you some traveling money and stuff like that. So, yeah, I'll put details in the Discord and then we'll go from there. Try to get something planned.
Put it in, plan it up, and fucking get it done.
Yeah. Oh, and we're an hour. We are just an hour from the Calgary International Airport. So flying in and out's pretty reasonable. Hell, we could even run a shuttle to the airport or something like that if we wanted to. Get the wife doing pickup.
I don't know, man. You could probably rent a limo pretty cheap and just have motherfuckers like shuttled back and forth and be like, "No, dude, you ain't doing it. You're a shuttle today."
Yeah, for sure.
I can rent one for half a day. It'd be worth it to do about fucking 15 trips.
Hell yeah. Maybe not at the price of gas up here, but
yeah, I'm not sure how that works. Been a long time since I've done that.
Yeah. Well, gas right now here is $1.50 $1.51 a liter, and there's 4 liters in a gallon. So,
Yeah, it's expensive.
but your American dollars go a long fucking way here. When I checked the exchange rate the other day,
Probably
it was
not.
a dollar. It was $1.69 Canadian is $1 US.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it's up. We get fucked right now. So yeah, party bus pickup. That's exactly Ty. Yeah. Yeah, freedom
$3.
dollars.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's have another dab frog or two, and then we'll maybe wrap her up for the morning.
Yes, sir.
And I really liked. Excuse me. I really liked digging into this stuff this morning, like we did. So, if you guys in chat have any more topics, any topics really that you would like to chat about or like to watch us fucking try to wrap our heads around or whatever, let us know. Send us a message in Discord or IG or wherever. But yeah, let us know what you guys want us to fucking to look up or to get into, and we'll get into that shit. Cheers, Couch Flyer.
Right. I always love having a fucking good topic to wrap my fucking mind around. Try to just think it out for a little bit, you know.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny too. Like sometimes, excuse me, I'll think something is like I'll think of a topic and I'll be like, oh, there's got to be so much to this, and then I look, I'm like, oh, there's not that much to it. It's pretty fucking straightforward or pretty simple. But then there's some of the other ones you're like, oh, it's probably not that much to get into, and then you actually look and it's like this one, I was like, holy fuck, when I typed it into Google, I think I just put no music effects on plant growth, and I was like, holy shit, the amount of stuff that came up. And like you've talked about before, these are research studies. These are fucking yale.gov.edu dot fucking, all the
Right?
good
All the good
resources.
fucking little letters after it.
Yeah. 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 So it's fun to get into this stuff. But cheers, everybody. You guys have a great day. Cheers, noob. We got anything tonight or just garden chat tonight?
Man, not that. Unless Caribou has gotten back with that one girl, and who knows if that'll be a thing. You know,
Yeah.
typically that's one of those they say yes, and then they'll check us out and be like, maybe not, and start making excuses. But hopefully, but I don't know if I haven't heard if he's heard back from her yet or not. So
Okay. All right. We'll come back this evening, you guys. We might have a guest, might not. Either way, it'll be a good time. So
it's always a good time.
you know what to do. Go hit that like button for us. Share the channel. Go back and share this video after it's done. Once it's finished, you can go click the share link and post it on your IG or wherever. But
yeah, man. Help
cheers,
us
everybody.
do awesome things.